Folks, the papers in New York, the Times, about every paper about the white kids attacking the black kid in a biased crime. Here's a quote from Black City Councilman Charles Barron. If this had been some blacks got together and done this to beat down a white person, the mayor would be outraged, the police commissioner, they'd have a lesser value of life when it comes to us. Okay, now let me just finish my thought, and you can talk for the next 20 minutes. This is why the average white working class person calls the media liberal and votes for Bush. If this had been blacks attacking whites, it wouldn't have outraged anyone. It wouldn't have been in the paper, because everybody knows that blacks would racially assault whites probably 1,000 to 1 against the other way around. Nobody wants to say that, but we all know it's true. And it's been that way for 30 years. And all the white liberal people won't admit it, so they sell out the blue-collar white kid street fight so they don't have to call themselves racist and keep their money and privilege intact. Patrice O'Neill?
I saw you read that, but did you really believe it?
I wrote it.
Do you really believe that?
Yes.
Black people don't do nothing to white people.
What?
Are you out of your mind? We don't touch you. When? We kill each other. We don't do anything to white people. Oh, shut up.
You admit.
You're killing me.
Go ahead, Ralphie.
Are you out of your mind?
Be careful.
Make your point. Stop trying to act. Okay. Stop just trying to have emotions.
Okay, all right. Four white guys beat up a black kid. Yeah, there's a switch. That happens all the time, player. You try to walk up and down Crenshaw. Walk up in any street over 100.
Also boxing during the Olympics. That happens a lot there too.
That's why we beat. Look.
No. I'm going to tell you exactly.
Look,
go ahead.
That's the only time we get a chance to whoop white people is when it's legal in sports.
Don't be silly. It's not 1950.
We never get a
Let me tell
chance
you
to touch
something.
white people.
Shut your trap for 1 second. You know what your problem is?
Except in
You're
golf,
so fooled
tennis, and basketball.
by this nonsense, which everybody in the country knows is a lie, including yourself, that you don't look at where economic problems where you really might have a legitimate case about racism and systemic stuff. You look at the lie that 4 white kids beating up a black kid is not happening reverse.
Well, maybe if they wasn't saying we gonna beat your ass, nigga, we wouldn't say it was racial. It was racial because they say nigga in it. When they
come on!
It was racial. It definitely was racial.
Of course, it's not
when I was in high school, I'd take the subway back from Manhattan to Queens all the time, and I was always by myself. And I'd get jumped literally 20 or 30 times over the course of the years, and it was always black guys and white bitch and white mother that came up a lot. It wasn't just say I was Puerto Rican.
Is admit that he's Puerto Rican. If he stopped trying to pretend to be a white dude, he wouldn't get his ass beat.
Really?
But that goes against what you just said, that black guys never beat up. Hey.
They beat him up. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute.
Make your case. Don't get emotional.
Wait.
You better hope. Hey, Montana, you better hope Jerry Rice shows up.
Make your case.
I'm gonna make my case. I'm gonna step back a minute. They beat him up for being a Puerto Rican, acting like a white guy. That's why they beat him up.
They were pretty insightful people.
First of all, I never said
Let me just say one thing.
they beat me up. I said that I got jumped, but I slapped those bitches around.
Let me ask you, speaking of race, what about the Kobe Bryant thing? That sounds like it's got a little, your thing on it has a little racial something to it.
The new word is plethysmograph, and everybody should be horrified about it.
Yeah.
It's a machine, if Kobe gets convicted, it's a machine that they're gonna put on his penis to measure what makes him horny.
It's true. It's true. It's a real machine.
Yes, white people.
It's a real machine.
It's a real machine. They're gonna decide whether to take his kids. And I know, look, an 80-year-old woman turned me on yesterday. How's that gonna be? They shouldn't be able to judge whether I'm a rapist or not.
I agree.
So that turns me on.
What turns me on is so sick. I can't imagine that being you.
And also, if anyone's wrapping a cuff on my penis, that's gonna get me going no matter what.
Exactly. And no matter what they say, if it's dirty, you're gonna get a.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna sit there like there's no win lose. It's a lose situation, because if he sits there and they showing him titties and he's not reacting, they're gonna go, oh, Kobe's a monster. He has no feeling.
Right.
So he's gonna lose.
No, that is a dangerous thing. It's like Clockwork Orange, the movie nobody saw except because I'm 71 years old today.
That's also if you're. But that plethysmograph, this cuff thing, it's only if you're convicted. So a good way to avoid the cuff. But the best way to avoid getting that thing on is not raping
I have to
someone.
admit, that's a weird thing to decide somebody's taste. Because if you're sitting there, like you said, you got somebody putting a cup on your cane, you're sitting there and they're just telling you all kinds of dirty stuff. Anything can set you off.
We got a machine to measure the horniness in Ralphie's titties.
He gave me a single commercial. Watch these. We'll be right back. do it now. Well, as we discussed earlier, the fall TV season is a time when networks unveil new shows they know will be canceled so they can make room for mid-season replacements. Nobody knows more about being canceled than comedians, so tonight we're going to let them create the perfect vehicle for someone on the panel. Do you see why I skip lines, young man? I just said young man with no irony. I am an old, all right, I'm on my way out. I'm going to be dead soon other than themselves. Ralphie, what's your sitcom idea for some of you guys here?
I have a sitcom for Patrice O'Neal.
Nice.
Patrice wanders the Old West fighting crime, a la David Carradine in Kung Fu, but he calls it "What up, fool?" Okay? You gonna finish your cornbread? If you can snatch this white bitch's phone number from the palm of my hand. Anyway, actually, I've got an idea. It's for Greg Giraldo. It's called any one of his great sitcoms that he's already pitched to you stupid execs and you bought, but you didn't put on the air. Mullet's okay. Greg Giraldo project about the Comedy Cellar, no. Inside Schwartz, okay. Jeff Ross project about inheriting a business, no. Get it together, Hollywood. What's the next story? About a large black man roaming the Old West, solving crime? I'm telling you, it's a hit!
I don't know what he said, but it was great.
It was really indecipherable, and that's coming from me.
You
stink.
It's an afternoon show.
We're going to cut it and edit it, but you have to admit, you had no ending for that.
No, I like the ending. To be honest.
All right, who's next?
I told
Jeff.
my friend Ralphie Mayer is staying with me this week, and we're good pals. I knew him when he was still the food critic at High Times magazine. Ralphie, I'm going to pitch you the greatest sitcom ever. You're right, take notes, okay? It's a remake of Gilligan's Island, where you play the island. All right? Now, the island, of course, is totally deserted, like filled with desserts. All right? Give him a break, folks. He performs in a round, okay? But hey, if Ralphie really wants to be a hit, he'll play his strengths. And let's face it, the big trend now is shows with numbers in their title. There's Jake 2.0, there's 10-8, there's 24. Why not Ralphie 478?
Hey, he's funny, folks. He's let me stay at his place. Laugh it up.
All right. Patrice O'Neal.
Oh, boy, it is a great reality show starring Ralphie called Having Trouble Standing, starring Ralphie May and his co-star, that thing in the front of his sweatpants.
You got some balls to make fat jokes. You got balls to make fat jokes. You fat bastard. You got some nerve, and you got a finish your damn topic. But you got nerve with that packet of hot dogs in the back of your neck.
It's a hit show, that thing in front of your sweatpants.
Shut up.
It comes on Tuesdays before I eat my dinner.
All right, wait.
Is this on the Food Network or what?
What do you mean? All right.
That got so crazy, it was like a school of krill was swimming by. Now,
What's a krill? It's what whales eat, dummy.
The honest truth is, I didn't know either, but I laughed because I didn't know it was I figured I should know.
What's that?
Shut up!
Shut up!
Greg.
I have a show for Ralphie, Patrice, and Jeff, and they would all basically play themselves.
Okay.
Jeff would be a guy whose only discernible income is the Friars Club roast he does every 2 years, and yet somehow drives a Porsche and owns luxury apartments in New York and LA. He can afford these things because he's an assassin who runs a side business delivering chicken wings to Ralphie and Patrice. The show would be called Trigger, Wigger, and Patrice.
I'd like to stay, but I have these high-powered executives to drive home. Good night, folks. Take care.